Guys, have you ever met someone and thought, why the heck are you like this? But, what if I told you that birthdays might explain why some people drive you nuts? And there's actually a reason. Here's the clue, it's in your numbers, it's in your birthday. Curious? Stick around with me. I'm Diane G. I'm an Akashic Records reader, an emotional energy healer, and you're watching Soul Cloud Connect. Hi, everyone. I'm back for another episode of Soul Cloud Connect. So, last time we talked about pre birth plans and how souls choose birthdays based on the vibration of that day. And here's the amazing thing, everyone. There are actually people who cracked that code. Like, what's the meaning of that vibration? Some people actually cracked that code and of what that vibration says about you. To help explain this today, I'm honored, so honored to be joined by my guest, who's a numerologist, a spiritual teacher, and an author. She's helping us break this down in a way that's actually really fun and very interesting, and maybe a little too accurate. Everyone, please welcome Debra Zachau.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much. That was a great invite, introduction. Thank you so much. It's great to
Oh,
be here.
oh, thank you. I'm really honored that you're here and you have accepted the invitation for Soul Cloud Connect. I want to say
Absolutely.
hi to the people who are in the chat. I know you're simulcasting. I just want to
Yes.
clarify one thing to the viewers. It's not my birthday, guys.
It's not mine either.
Yeah, it's neither of our birthdays, but the topic today is related to our birthdays. And I'm really glad that Deborah is here to help me explore this topic because this is very interesting. And you actually have a book where you talk
Mhm.
about this. And I'm going to show it to you guys, the cover. I don't have the physical copy, unfortunately, but I do have uh, the Kindle copy. So I have your number, which is talking about dating in relationships is another part of it. So I'm really very excited, and I want to say hi to the people in the chat. Oh my gosh, this is a troublemaker. Keep an eye out for this one. Hi, Linda. I'm just
Hi,
just
Linda.
joking. She's a wonderful person. Hi, Linda. And Sarah Hibiscus Healings is here. Hi, Sarah. And
Yeah.
Nicole is here. Marby Gongara is here. I might not be able to say hi to everyone, but just know that we are seeing you. We are seeing your comments. And if you have any questions about the topic, please put them down and please put them in all caps. And also, later on, we are going to draw for readings. We are going to answer the question: what is one small step that I can take to align my path with my soul's purpose? And it's randomly chosen. How do you enter? Put in this keyword. It's hashtag soul. We are going to randomly draw for people to read for later on. There you go. Thank you.
Yay.
I'm just going to scroll up a bit more to see who is here. And Cheryl is here. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you so much for all your support. And Al is also here. Hi, Al. SR Kish is also here. So many
Excellent.
familiar faces. Hello, Gwen Almeda. Oh, Cecilia. Hi, Cecilia. Cecilia is sharing my birthday is April 15. I wonder what that means for you. So, everyone, while we're talking about this, maybe you can get a pen and paper and write your birthday down. Maybe we can do something about that later. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, Deborah, again, thank you so much for being here with us. The last time that I did this show, Soul Cloud Connect, I talked about how each soul's purpose, missions, the soul mission purpose contracts are planned pre
Mhm.
birth. It's like this blueprint. And as an
Mhm.
Akashic reader, it really blew to my mind when I realized that some of the information that are coming in from the Akashic Records Masters are saying this person chose to be born exactly on this day because of the
Mhm.
vibration. So I want to ask you, Deborah, from a numerologist's perspective, How important is a person's birthday? And what can we find out about a person's blueprint through their birthday?
I love that question. I love that question. That's the whole 9 yards. Now, so I find numerology to be the answer to an awful lot of problems that I had in my own life. So, I was thinking, how do I present it with enough heart to have it really be a home run as far as the emotional energy I have and dedication I have to just the life path number at this point. But it's, if you suffer from an addiction, which I didn't suffer from an addiction like drugs, alcohol, but I suffered from an addiction of resentment. And if things went wrong in my life, I think all the reasons why someone could have helped me through, and it could have been better if someone could only fill in the blank. I'm not proud of that, but that's what I was. I was the Eight of Swords. It was like I was trapped in that, but I had to get out of it. And so I studied the philosophy and spiritualism and tarot and all of that stuff. And then I worked with a lot of people, but it wasn't until I found numerology, it was like I found my sobriety. It was like going, if I was an alcoholic and found my sobriety and the joys of freedom that people have when they find sobriety. I found my sobriety through numerology because I was able to give up the resentment and the stinking thinking I had, the mommy daddy issues and things that were just ridiculous for me to have, yet there they were. So that's why I studied. So, and then I put it to the test with all my hotline clients and things. And so it worked. But I do believe that people choose their time, because that's all we have is free choice here on earth and in the afterlife. We can choose to go to the light when we die or not, hence ghosts. So there's a whole bunch of different things to that. But if you don't mind, I want to take just a few minutes to give everyone my philosophy about life and death in general.
Yes, please.
I believe that when you die, you go to and also I've studied NDEs and I've had some shows about experiencers that have told that this is consistent too. But so there's an orientation, and then there is, your life review, and there's you reconcile all that you misunderstood, and then you feel it's at that point you realize, man, I had a lot of power when I was on earth that I didn't know I had. With one word, I can make or break someone's day, that type of thing. So, but it can be painful, it can be joyful, but you are completely wrapped in love while you're moving through that. It's such an important part of your soul's path, is to go through your life review, so you're able to move into the lessons that we needed to learn or teach in this lifetime, to know which was which, and then add that to our golden web, which I'll explain in a moment. So, and after that is reconciled, you are every lifetime prior to this lifetime that you just reconciled is clean. There's no residual. It's like baptism, I guess for nothing better.
It sounds that way.
Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like that's true. And then there's many mansions. Our Father has many mansions, so then you can explore different things. If you had a fascination with one person in history, let's say there's a place you can go to. A lot of people feel, oh, well, there's so many people that feel they were Cleopatra or something. Well, there's a good reason for that, because we study others in the afterlife, just like we study in this life, to study others' behavior, to learn from them. We want to mirror them or live up to them. Same thing in the afterlife. So you can go into their records and understand them to a point where their perspective, you get to feel their perspective of their choices, and it's a remarkable. So you get to reconcile with them. So part of their lessons you learn during that session. So there's just so much information you can glean from that. So then we have soul families, moving on to soul families. Anybody on earth that's living today that really makes you mad or really makes you happy,
Yeah.
anything, anybody you have an emotional attachment to is usually your part of your soul family. And you do incarnate with agreements. I'm going to be mean to you. You're going to react like this. And then you're going to do this, whatever the plan is. And now the plan, the agreements are only there to where I get to choose differently. So say, oh, Deb, you had a really hard time with resentment in this last lifetime. So I'm going to come in with the agreement that I'm going to cause some disappointment in you, and you're going to have it. It's going to hook you because this is one of the things you tend to do, that you have decided during this lifetime that's coming up that you wanted to get better at. So yes, I agree to it. And so in this life, when I incarnate with that person and the event happens, it's up to me. I get to choose whether the resentment sticks or not. Of course, it starts and then it triggers my past life memory. Think, oh, this is an issue, not just this lifetime. Say, okay, so now I know to choose differently. And you keep it in the consciousness instead of the victimhood. You become the observer. There's all these techniques, right?
Yes.
But so that's what happens. So when you prepare to reincarnate, we reweave a golden web, I call it,
Mhm.
and it's our memory system for all the memories we need from our lessons from certain past lives, not all of them, just certain. So all these lessons, that was like packing a bag to go on a trip. I need this from this lifetime and that from that lifetime, because the lessons I learned in that are going to align to my lessons that are going to come in. It's not like you have everything that you need. And so I have this bag of lessons. And so every lifetime we reweave a new memory system. So
Yes.
we incarnate. And so then at different parts of our lives, we get triggered with something. We reach into our bag or traveling bag and we say, okay, I'm going to use this to the best of my memory. I'm going to react to this situation to the best of my memory. The thing is that we have that little thing about the veil of forgetfulness, right? Which
That
is
we do.
necessary.
Yes.
It's necessary for that because we need to have our own choices, not influenced by others. That's why guides will never tell you what to do. If you have a psychic tell you that guides are telling you to drive the car on Tuesday, that's not a psychic. So that's not the information that is from spirit. It's from somewhere, but it's not from spirit. So understand that if they and the questions are all tell me what they want me to do. Of course, it'll be easy. It's always a catchphrase, but of course they can't do that. It'd be totally disrespectful if they did that.
Yeah, because we
Also,
have our own free will, right?
yes. Now, also, I just want a side note here. If
Okay.
you are working with energies that do want to tell you what to do, beware. Just be clear-eyed with it. So some of the channels that are out, some of the very, very popular channels that are out that tell people what to do, they're all convicted. They say it with such confidence that you have to believe it. And there's a very popular man that's doing it right now, and I've always think side-eye to him because not everything I disagree with or anything, but it's when they say you need to ABC. That's not from spirit. That's from the person, the
Yes.
human.
The ego.
Yes, the human. Just so you know, just because when spiritual people come together to learn something, their heart is or anybody comes to a psychic advisor, their heart is wide open. And so it's very easy to, as an advisor, to manipulate or do, you know what I mean? We're not
Yes.
that way. We aspire to be clean and everything. But nonetheless, as we pack our suitcase to reincarnate, then we choose different days, because not the whole family incarnates at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But we choose um, different energies that will serve us well during this lifetime. And the birthday is part of that. Whether you choose to be a monosoul or walk-in soul is is something you would choose before that. There's a whole lot of different things you choose prior to incarnating, and then once it's aligned, then like once your soul is aligned to your mother's soul and it's viable, your birth is viable because that energy stays congruent for the most part the whole time. Even though there's morning sickness and you think this, they don't, my baby doesn't like me, but it's not that. These souls are aligned perfectly. So that's how I believe numerology works. So it's just the basics, how someone, the life path number is the basics of how someone filters information. A 4 life path is going to filter information different than a 7, different than a 2, different than a 5. And it's just the basics. It's the information I use to get into the room of knowing for that particular person. So if you ever do a reading, if you learn numerology and you ever do a reading and someone says, that doesn't sound like me at all, I feel bad mainly because they're so far off of who they are at soul level that we have to find new words to shepherd them back into understanding that, yeah, these are your gifts. You are good at that.
They just don't understand it yet.
Right. So that's, and there's just one more thing to sum up. What I have found is really interesting is that some of the problems that people come to me with are due to the fact that their divine gifts, they're not, they don't recognize them as gifts. They recognize them as a human condition. In other words, someone who's really good at divine order, organization and things like that, they may hold their peers and family members to a higher standard because organization is very easy for them. It's part of their gifts. Yes. But as soon as they recognize that not everyone's built like that, then their life becomes less attached to what other people do. So it's like that. It's just information that you get to use to have a better life. Easier way of
correct me if I'm understanding this wrongly, but the way I'm hearing this, so if you know your life path number or someone else's life path number, you get to understand them better
before talking to them.
Yeah, before talking to them. That's what's mind blowing. Even before you talk to them, you just need to know their birthday.
Yes, but here's something else. When I teach numerology, because not all of the legacy books out there, I haven't experienced their full definition in my experience. So because I have been blessed with being able to read for a lot of people, and put all these to the test. And so how I teach it is a way that I had learned, the way I taught myself tarot and things like that. So even if you don't know someone's birthday, how they stand, how they look at you, how they will tell you so much more. So they will act like a 5. So you address them like a 5, you see, and meet them right where they are. I often say, that someone was going to jump off the bridge. And I actually was going to write a book for first responders, because first responders usually have a clue of birth date, but who would be doing math at that time? But if someone was going to jump off a bridge and you had their birthday, you would have the right combination, because time is of the essence. And you say the wrong thing, over they go. So, they need to feel heard right away. So anybody in crisis, if you need to feel heard right away, and you know their number, then it's you can filter your information. The information is saying don't jump. It's don't jump.
But the way you say it,
how you did, because the numbers will tell you what they're good at and what they don't realize they're good at, and the benefit. And then and then once an advisor, a spiritualist that's going into this in that direction, that will move you into the room of knowing where your intuition. So here's the nuts and bolts, the math, the science, the tool over here, that it'll get you to that room of knowing so fast that you will be able to not waste anybody's time and money, able to move into how they
Yeah, you
most
can
likely
see
would.
something that might actually reach them, even if
Yeah,
you're just given a simple
one
information as,
sentence.
yeah,
One sentence. Yeah,
that's amazing. I
yeah.
see this like a code that we have cracked. I've mentioned it a few times already. So it's really fascinating to me because with just one simple information,
Mhm.
we know what to say, we know how to reach people, we know how to understand people. And not only
Yes.
other people, maybe ourselves as well.
And I've noticed that personally, I have noticed that in crisis, when someone's in crisis, they're more themselves. They're more honest with themselves and who they are at soul level in crisis. It's like they've had enough of this Pollyanna stuff. I'm going to just speak my mind or something. Like when they're angry and they're in crisis, that's when you can read them so well. And it's like the numbers go click and you think, okay, I see you. I so get you. And depending on the depth of that crisis or emotion, rather, the emotion can tell you maybe how far off, and this is where your intuition comes in. And so I can see how far off how how long you've been away from who you are at soul level by how you're reacting. And so it's just a remarkable way. And first, I learned about it through healing myself, my emotional burdens. I still go into stinking thinking, but it's like I'm just for a second. And then
Yeah,
then
we
it's
are
like,
able to pull ourselves back. Like,
yeah,
oh, I'm
yeah.
thinking this way again.
I was spent years. I got to tell you, I spent years miserable, just miserable. And now I don't. And I'm teaching everybody who wants to learn this method because it's my sobriety. It's my way out of the suffering.
That's an amazing way to use that information. You mentioned struggles, but can and also that before incarnating, that we kind of choose the things that would challenge us. Like for example,
Mhm.
someone who has had resentment in the past lives or in their past lives may come in and like get some help from another person to
Mhm.
maybe trigger that wound and help us. So the people who are driving us nuts right now, they might actually be helping us.
That's on my website, the slogan I came up with, at any one time you're someone's teacher or student, the trouble begins when you just assume which one you are, because that's it in a nutshell. You got it. You got it.
Yeah. So are these also reflected in our life path numbers? Why like this certain people or a certain person really drives us nuts?
Um,
Like
it's
are
it's
there incompatibilities in life path numbers?
Yeah, yes, there's tendencies. So even in the beginning of my book, the book here that I have is with relationships and dating and things like that. I put dating in there because it's sort of what my clientele in the wild is about. Um, but nonetheless, there's no one number you should stay away from. I have seen the opposites come together and make magic because they respect and understand each other. They're not so up into themselves that that person has to do whatever they've never takes you out of your comfort zone, basically, is what it is. When you find someone that you don't get along with, that person is asking you to go in a place where you're not comfortable emotionally. That's just the bottom line. So understand that's your hook, or that's part of their quirk. And when I learned that, I was able to overlook, like when someone would say something that normally would offend me, and I'd spend the next minute saying bad things in my head about them. Well, yeah, you think that? Well. And then I think, oh, yeah. Oh, no. she did not mean it that way. He did not mean it that way. I mean, some people wake up in the morning and want to make your life miserable. I do believe that, but they're rarer than you think.
Yeah,
They're rare.
they woke up and chose violence.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna
how
get that.
people
Yeah.
say it nowadays. But the way I'm imagining it with your explanation a while ago is that before
Mhm.
we incarnate, it's like when we choose to incarnate in this life path and our enemy, quote unquote enemy, is also incarnating at the same time. It's like, hey, I'm incarnating as this life path number, and hey, I'm incarnating in that number. Maybe we can help each other out. Then
Yeah.
when they come in, they drive each other nuts.
So the thing is, I love this question because you're learning new ways to choose in situations. And so you may someone that bothers you, not everybody needs to be understood. It could just very easily be someone you need to walk away from without having a good reason. That could be the whole lesson for that agreement. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I know. It's like maybe the lesson is just setting my boundaries and saying, no, this is enough. I'm going to walk away. We don't need to see each other eye to eye. Maybe we can just stop forcing things to fit
Yeah,
and just go.
yeah.
Maybe that is the lesson.
The thing is that I can walk away pretty easy from relationships. I'm gonna have to mute because I've got a cough. I'm sorry, I've been
Oh,
talking too much. Hang on a
no worries.
second.
Please take a sip. Okay. So, everyone, if you haven't read it yet or even heard about it, Debra Zachau has her book out. It's called I Have Your Number. Okay, there's it. There you go. This is her book cover. I Have Your Number, a funny guide to why people drive you nuts. So for the people who haven't read or your the book, you can purchase it through Amazon. There we go. I put up a QR code. So for the people who are watching through a computer or a TV, I know there are many of you out there. You can scan the code through your phone. You can get there. And also, everyone, the links are available in the description. And also, both of our channel links are in the description. So please do check our channels out. Subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And also, hit the like button if you haven't done that yet. That would be very
Like and
helpful.
hype. Like and
Yeah.
hype.
Like and hype. There we go.
Oh, somebody has my book. Thank you. Please review it on Amazon.
Yay.
I appreciate that. Oh,
And
that's
people are
great.
already sharing their life path numbers in the chat.
Oh, good. Because if they win a reading, I would like to have that. Oh, Life Path 6.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, we have a prompt, but maybe if they can share what their life path number is, yeah, we
Yeah.
can do
So
something.
what you just take your birth date with no slashes and no words, just the numbers, and add each number up one by one, just arithmetic. At the end of that, you'll have a 2-digit number. And so then if it's not an 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, you add the two numbers together and it will reduce to a single digit, and that's your life path number.
Okay, Miss Noodle or Mr. Noodle Nisha is saying, I'd love some clarification. April 25, 1985. So just
Okay.
for an explanation for people, how do we compute her life path number or their life path
Okay.
number?
So it would be April.
So
Oh,
that's
and happy
4.
birthday. It's 4 plus 2
Okay.
plus 5. And a lot of people say, can't I just add the 2 and 5 together and put 7? Yeah, you can. But it's the year that you have to make sure you get the 1 and the 9 too. So it's 4 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5. That's no, I did it all wrong. Sorry, I've been talking too much
No
for.
worries. I think it's 34. If I can math. There are days when I can't. Okay. 4, 6, 11, 12,
You're
30.
right.
Well,
It's
am I?
34. So
I
the
can
reason
math.
So those of you who may go down the rabbit hole of numerology, I want to give you a juicy tip.
Yes,
This
please.
is a little over and above, but so Noodle, is it Noodle? Is
Yes,
a
Noodleisha is their name.
so you're a 34, and then you put a slash. It's a 7 because you add 3 plus 4 is 7, right? So your life path number is a 7 for your whole life. Your life lessons live in the 3 and the 4. So it's kind of good to know those two numbers, and those stay your whole life. It's not like your name numerology that changes with different nicknames and stuff like that. Your birthday is for the rest of your life. Personal numbers, personal year numbers change with every calendar year, but this is all your life. So you will always be a 34/7. If you were my client and you came in frustrated with the world in general, maybe have an issue with people, I'll know that a 7 is usually a quiet seeker. Your happy place is in a book, in a library, with tea in the backyard. You have your blessing in this life, because we bring blessings. Your gifts and blessings is to be able to get into that room of knowing. See, now I'm pretty intuitive myself, but I rely on my tools because my imagination is so out there. I write books and imagine things all the time. I want to make sure I'm in my intuition, not my imagination. So I use tools, whereas, and you may too as well, but for a 7, it's like whatever you focus on, whether it be academia, engineering, you'd be great in engineering and higher education, in accounting, big numbers like world numbers, and just whatever you point to. Or if you're in spiritualism, then you'll say you want to learn mediumship or something like that. It's like whatever you focus on, you honor it, not jump around too much. Oh my gosh, the floodgate of information from the heavens is going to just fill you up with whatever. And it's almost like the bounty comes really fast. And we sabotage ourselves saying, well, I don't know if I want all this, right? So there's issues there. But if you came to me with so that's who you are. And I know that before I even talk to you. So then I see you're having challenges. Well, it lies in the 4 of the 34, the number closest to the slash. So the closest to the slash is the more important life lesson. So the 4 is stability. It's also a quiet number. The 4 is a quiet number. It's a very conservative, fiscally conservative number. And it can be a stubborn number. That's a negative. And then the 3 is creativity, which I think is the structure, and then creativity. So it's like this wonderful dance of information that you're doing. Like you want to make sure you're solid and secure, and then after that, you go out and have some fun. If you don't go out and have some fun, or write a book or dance or whatever, I don't know, have some fun, create for someone, then it's like you have to balance all of those lessons to move into the full potential of your 7. And then the sky's the limit. I mean, some of the most brilliant people, I did at random, I draw 100 names and birthdays for different categories of people, Nobel laureates, commentators like who we see on TV,
Yes.
actors, actresses, famous people in history, serial killers, all of them. And most all of them, every single number has won a Nobel Peace Prize. Let's just put that out there. But the 7s seem to move into their direction 30% with more 30% more successful. If that makes, it's almost like the wind is at their back. Now, if you're sitting there feeling all disempowered, saying, oh, life doesn't do anything for me, and you don't know this about yourself, you won't entertain the thought that this might be true. Just a little bit, the door open a little bit, this might be true. And you sit with that for, I say, 1 hour. You sit with the idea that maybe what I'm saying is absolutely true. That will open up these ideas, and also give you memories of when the wind was at your back before. And then you start realigning yourself. Do you need a guru to do it? Do you need a psychic to do it? No, you just need information to do it on your own.
And
Find
they
your way.
actually have it. It's simple. It's in their
Yeah.
birthday. They just needed to understand it. It's blowing my mind again for several reasons. First, I'm a life path number 7 as well. And you're like describing me.
Yes.
Like my degree is in engineering. And
Yes.
then
Yes.
I'm just, whoa. And so
Yeah.
you're telling me that we can even find out about our challenges that we have to like get through in
With
this
the two
lifetime
number.
through
Yes.
our life path number. That is so
Yeah.
amazing.
So that's why sometimes when you're those of you in the show that are advisors already, you'll notice that the numbers prior to the one life path number, um, so the life lessons, they are more activated when we're younger, of course, because we have to kind of wrestle once we're through being under mom and dad and stuff under that shelter. We start moving way into, and that isn't that about, and then we go into Saturn. I don't do astrology, but the Saturn returns and these different milestones then that can trigger that. It's almost like if you understand who you are at soul level, like through the numbers, uh, earlier in your life, oh my God, your life gets so much easier because you know what to be bugged about. You know
Yeah.
what is yours and what's someone else's. And
I
my
just
life
want to
just
say
changed.
when I read your book, I thought, I wish I had known this earlier
I know.
because it explained a
Me
lot.
too.
Like when I read a life path number and then I realize, oh my gosh, this is my mom, this is my sister, this is my friend. It makes sense.
I know.
I'm like,
I'm
how
so excited
fascinating
when you
is
say
that?
that. That is exactly how I discovered it too. It's like, oh, this works, this works. And even if you didn't know someone's birth date, but you knew that if I knew you were an engineer and then studying metaphysics, and I'm thinking, oh, that's a 7. I do it all the time. Listen to documentaries about someone in history or something like that. And I'm thinking, I bet you they are a certain life path. And I'll just go and look it up and I'm right. And it's so exciting. So this is why I teach your observation skills. So you don't have to rely on, that pickup line, what's
Right.
your birth date? So
So
no.
you mentioned something very interesting because we have this life path numbers, okay? But what if a person gets like, okay, this is the life path number, but they don't seem to bear the qualities of that life path number? What does that usually mean?
So I appreciate that question because it's just like any other tool you have. You can look at someone's astrology and find all these lucky charms. As Val, um, Illumination Portal, Val
Yes.
says, oh, you've got these lucky charms in your chart, right? And but people never seem to ride that lucky charm, that type of thing. But sometimes it's because of, and this and bears true with numerology, it could very well be that childhood trauma has overshadowed everything else and moved them into a place. Now you can still serve them well as a counselor. You can still serve them well because you know the way back. It just might take a little more finessing to, uncouple from the trauma enough to like Miss Noodle, just a little bit so that blessing of who they are at soul level is recognized just for 1 hour, then it can take hold. There's a foothold. But also drugs and alcohol, especially drugs. Alcohol too, long term, because it does something to the brain. And so you're just talking to someone who has lost the thread to a point. Now, it doesn't mean they're wrong or anything. It just means, from my perspective, their behavior is so far off, or they're not so much their way of thinking. So you wouldn't say someone is, oh, this is the reason why they're conservative or liberal. You wouldn't say that at all, because that doesn't have a number. It's just the process of things. But then when the brain is affected like that, it's you just, you go with other tools. Go with your pendulum, go with your astrology, go with your cards, and serve them well. Numbers, I always rely on, but you don't have to, because I can see what you're saying. And it has happened where someone was so far up and there was no talking him into it. So there was this one client I had. This is nobody here was this, but I'm not talking out of turn to anybody. I just recognized it because there was a big problem that this man had, and I saw that he was a 4-life path, which I knew it was going to be hard to talk him out of whatever he's focused on, but I knew his life lessons. So I moved through that, and he says, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. Usually a 4 is going to say, that's not me, that's not me, because they have a perception, and they stick with it a lot, no matter what, good or bad. And so then you just go differently, you choose different words then.
Okay, so if someone who's watching right now might feel this way, they computed their life path number and they checked it out and they feel like it's not them and they feel lost or unaligned. How can their numbers guide them? Like back to being in alignment or being
Oh, no,
themselves.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to talk someone into their life path number.
Oh,
If they don't recognize it, this is their journey. Then it's not, and it could very well be that I am, because of my knowledge and my jam, whatever I do, I'm not the right advisor for them. It could very well be that, just that simple. But if you don't recognize yourself, I doubt you're not, I think you're going to recognize some of it. And so you just anchor in that and then entertain the thought for the rest of it. So a lot of people feel that they're not narcissistic, or they tend to be selfish. Then that can go into, if not recognized early enough, can go into narcissism. Once you're in narcissism, it's kind of hard to tell them any different, right? So it's a little different that way.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for answering the question. There are also some questions from the chat. I just want to pull this comment out earlier. Shining Love Light Truth is saying, Diane, I just wanted to thank you from my heart to yours for the show last week and informing me about carrying blame. I was able to release and take care of it. I mean, it was amazing, life changing. Oh, thank you for Shining Love Light Truth for saying that. Deborah was talking about carrying baggages with us from past lifetimes a while ago, and it feels like you've just released yours. So thank you so much for your feedback.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Good on you both.
Okay. And Amethyst Lapis Tarot is asking, could you discuss the karmic debt numbers? What is a
Oh,
karmic debt?
yes.
Oh.
Thank you for bringing it up. So I do not believe in karmic debt. So these numbers here, those are the 2 numbers before you
Reduce it to the final one.
The reason I read that in every single numerology book, and I took it in and I learned it, and it doesn't hold water. And here's why. We have those 2 numbers, 13, 14, 16, 19. We have those 2 numbers during different decades. During you're born in a certain century, a certain decade, right? And so there'll be a generation like one we're in now, the people born in the 2000s, they'll be born with karmic debt numbers for that. Now, some people really get into karma, and here's what I believe. Because we reconciled at the last, on all of our life, at the end of every incarnation, we reconciled. We have no karma to pay off anymore, especially if you don't believe just me. Look at the stars around us. Look at what the planets are doing. They haven't done this since, I don't know, anybody's been alive. I don't know. The astrologers think it's really amazing. I think it's amazing, and I'm not an astrologer. So that just backs me up. It's like, forget karma in the way. This is a new earth. We have to think of things a new way. We do not come in with karma. My life is not bad because of something I did in a past life or anything else. My life is bad because sometimes life is just rotten for no good reason. And so it's how comfortable we've been in our childhood will determine how uncomfortable we are when we're trying to do ours. I mean, it's just whether it's bad or good. The thing is that karmic debt, this is what when I do soul realignments, which I do across Akashic Records work myself. Whenever I see karma, it's unjustified karma. It's misunderstood. And I say this, this is my go-to story. So remember I told you about the golden web, right?
Yes.
So let's say in 2 lifetimes ago, you're with your little sister and you're going out to play, and your mother says, take your little sister, and you say, no, I don't like her. I want to do no, mom made you take your little sister outside to play. Well, you got rid of her right away and you started doing your own thing. And then you come back home and you see that little sister fell in the pond and died. So that was an agreement with huge. Now, Akashic Records don't have emotions. So we're just doing this about, don't get emotional about that. Let's just stay there. Okay. So that was a very emotional, imagine that child, the burden of the parents always, I mean, you can just imagine it from one moment, how that is. And so their whole life was processing that one moment. It was reconciled when you went back, when you died. Okay. It was reconciled. But when you rewove your memory system, you misremembered that because of the trauma of the moment. You misremembered it. And so what you did, and it didn't activate that karma link. I want to find a new word for it. That connection didn't enliven at all. It didn't click on until after you became a mother. And then you become this helicopter mom. You could be the most free-flowing spirit in numerology, but all of a sudden you can't not take your eyes off your child, and you're the person you don't even understand. So that's when you can recognize. But how do you reconcile that? You don't go, because realignment, it's not like I go into Akashic Records and dust off all, you don't take away anything from the records. You don't like clear the records like that, but because you only add to the records, but you make them understandable in our pedestrian way to a point where it does not cause you harm in this lifetime. So, all that from the karmic debt thing, because I really have an issue with karma. I tried on the traditional idea of karma because it was a spiritual practice that I respected. And so I lived my life for a short amount of time with that theory, because you try on new things and you live through them. And if they hold water, if they're correct all of the time, and it's truth in all of the form in your life, then you adopt that theory, that spiritual theory, right? Well, I watched that, that thing on TV, the news on TV, that football coach that took his football boys into a cave, and then they got water. The water came in, and the whole world was trying to get them out alive, and they all got out alive and stuff. But what I did, that was before our current administration, so I'm really glad I discovered this. But when I watched that show, I'm a life path 2911, so I have emotions, so I have to be mindful of my emotions. And so understanding karma that way, that we all do things, it's all planned out, or destiny or whatever, understand was a relief for me, because I didn't live in so much emotion. But when I watched that, I had no emotion. You want to know what I actually physically thought when I saw that? I went, wow, they must have really messed up in a past life to get this on there. I thought, what? Who am I? That is not me. So the traditional idea of karma in general was suspended at that moment when I realized I was losing my humanity over it. So when I see, and I know Amethyst, every legacy numerology book addresses karmic numbers. And imagine, you know what? Did you read on that? You know what you're supposed to do is just say, well, your life is messed up. So, oh, you're a 13-4? Forget it. Good luck. It's like that. It's ridiculous. Oh, you have to really work off all this karmic debt. No, you do not. How disrespectful. How annoying I find it when people decide to tell another person that
You have to
that
clear your karmic debt and all
oh
that.
my
Uh,
gosh,
yes,
no. Just
I've read that before. And also, like, there's nothing in the Akashic records about karma and, being punished for a certain thing. Yeah, I have to
just
agree
just
with that.
just just misremembered lessons from certain lifetimes that will trigger at certain parts of your life that someone that works with Akashic records could help you with
Yes.
unravel.
Cass Michelle Pham is also saying, as a QHHT practitioner, I always get no more karma for clients. We pre-plan our lives, ups and downs, and it's all questions. This is coming from a different modality, QHHT, and it's the same.
I don't know what QHHT is.
Quantum healing.
Oh, oh,
I forgot the
oh,
HT.
healing. Okay. Uh, we pre-plan our lives ups and downs and all the lessons. Can I address that right now? Because
Yes, please.
so with all due respect, my sweet. So, oh, this is Cass. Hi. So
Oh, she's saying it's
pre-planned
quantum healing
quantum healing
hypnosis.
hypnosis. So when I do soul profiles and things, I find out what planet of origin you are in. And so not everyone's an earther, right? And
Yes.
what is the planet of origin? We have all these lives on different planets, but the very first life, the first breath of life in a 3D situation is somewhere on a planet, and you live there and you take on the custom of that planet, the understanding of that planet, and so it's just an added layer of who you are. Is basically what it is. But there are parallel situations with don't have planets, like mission realmers. They are souls that incarnate on this planet into horrible situations. They say yes to the most horrible things because the mission realmers come from the angelic range. And so they're the crack babies a lot of times that are born, and they just incarnate into, God bless them. They're just great. And there's also blueprinters. There's a whole bunch of different, but there's another one called a parallel, and it's a parallel Earth. So so it's exactly the same. Earth is exactly the same, but one Earth is ours, our existence, where we get to choose, change our mind any second of the day. We make our own cause and effect. That's it. Not good or bad, cause and effect. That's it. The same thing with their parallel Earth on one of them, our closest one. But that is, you make all your choices prior to incarnating. It's like getting a ticket and going for a ride. So you can recognize a parallel visitor because we're all from different planets, right? I recognize a parallel in an instant when they can't, for the life of them, make a decision. Where do you want to eat? I don't know. Anywhere you do. I really don't know. Where do you want to go to school? I don't know. I can't imagine. They cannot for the life of them make a
Their
choice,
mind.
or they labor over it, and then they're afraid of making the wrong choice. All that. So that's a struggle, and that could be because not from your numbers, but it could be because you're from the parallel Earth, having an existence here, and just knowing that will help you move into a different reality. So I believe, to finish that thought, I know that astrologers, people who believe in predestined lives, are usually have had experiences with parallel Earth, incarnations with parallel Earth. That brings that theory in. Not that you're wrong or right. It's just a way of thinking.
That's amazing. Mere Dragon is saying, you just clarified my question about karma and life plan conflict. Thank you. Ah,
You're
I'm
welcome.
glad.
Very happy about that.
Yeah. Parallel dad. Someone is saying they have a parallel dad because that sounds like
Yeah,
their dad.
I know it's funny to think about, right? Just to entertain the thought that that's it. The
Yeah.
poor dears.
Oh, and Linda De Gonzalez was saying, OMG, Diana, code. You're constantly upping the bar. Yes, there is actually a QR code. If you can see, if you're on mobile, it's here, but it's on Deborah's side over here. If you look at it from the landscape view, this is a QR code of Deborah's book. It's called I Have Your Number, a funny guide to why people drive you nuts. So, if this conversation with Deborah has interested you or piqued your interest, make sure that you check the description for the link to her book. Get it. You won't regret it. I bought it and it just blew my mind. It's very easy to understand and it's not serious. That's one thing that I really appreciated about it. It's not always serious, there's humor in it. So it's like I'm laughing. I was laughing while reading it and also saying, it makes so much sense. Like this person makes so much sense to me now. I know how to approach them and all of
That's right.
that. So yeah, make use of the QR code if you're on the computer or in your laptop, or if you're on your mobile, the links are in the description. Also, while you're there, make sure that you subscribe to both of our channels. It really helps the channels out.
This
There
is
you
great.
go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. So, um, we are going to draw for readings later on, but do you have any messages for the people who are watching right now who really have who picked or has their interest picked about numerology and life path numbers before we go
You-
into the reading?
So understand that this is a learnable skill, and so and if you're fascinated with the why people do what they do and say what they do, you'll understand the book. This isn't a book that you go in cover and read cover to cover. You go in, you figure out your own, you read your chapter, and then you figure out your mom's and your dad's birthday. And then you figure out your siblings. And then you think,
Yes.
oh, well, what about my enemy from college? And then you figure out their birthday or my exes. Oh my gosh. And just heal throughout. And that's what I want. And I did want to write it with a light heart, a light delivery, because too many I did get through all the numerology books that I have, a few of them. They're thick and they're scientific and everything. I did not want that. I wanted a quick read and something to have fun with. The next one in the series, I'm thinking about like parenting or kids,
Mm.
and the numbers that would reveal themselves through a child's heart and mind. And if you were a certain number dad or mom, then I had one client that called and said, I think I'm a really bad mom. I said, how do you know? What? Well, she was a 44 life path, not many of those. 44 life path, which is diligent, serious, master builder of safe spaces. She's just down to earth. And she gave birth to a son that's a 3 life path. It's just creative, off the wall, and all that stuff. You're going to be fine. You just read this. Here's the number. Go on Google and find out what it means. And but yeah. So enjoy it. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much for being here. So we are going to draw for our readings, and yeah, if you have your pen and paper, everyone, compute your life path number now. Maybe if your name is drawn, we'll ask Deborah about your life path number and what it says about you. Okay.
Mhm.
So while we're drawing for people, do that right now. Get your pen and paper. Compute your life path number. Again, you just add every digit of the number.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one at a
until
time.
yeah,
It's
one at
not
a time.
very complicated. There is a complicated way to do it. It's a bunchy
I
kind of
don't
thing.
want to
So we,
complicate.
we do the easy way.
Oh, okay. So, everyone, if you haven't done it yet, the hashtag for today to join the reading is here. It's hashtag soul. So, if you haven't done it yet, Please type it in now, and we are going to proceed with the draws. I'm going to draw for like 3 people for now.
Okay,
Are you good with that?
I'll
Okay.
write them down.
Uh, So the first person we are reading for today, Donna
Donna
Ortiz,
Ortiz.
who was with us yesterday
Yeah,
during the members meeting.
yeah.
Congratulations, Donna, and please let us know in the chat that you're still here.
Like that music.
Thank you. Leah
Yeah.
Omega 8. Congratulations, Leah. Please say hi in the chat. And last for this round, we have Lisa P73. Lisa, congratulations, and please say hi in the chat. There we go. Okay, I see
That's
Donna
right.
and Leah. So we're still waiting for Lisa P73. Okay. Please put in your life path number that you have computed in the chat. But I'm glad they're all here. Oh, let's see Lisa now. There we go. So again, you compute the life path number by adding the digits.
Yes. So you can just one number at a time. It'll be break down to a 2-digit number. And if that isn't a 11, the master number, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. I only met 155 in my whole career. And I've done like over 11,000 on one platform, 11,000 readings, and one Life Path 55. And I dedicated a whole chapter to her. I thought, I'm going to do that. Oh,
A master
Leah,
number 55. Okay.
What's that? Yeah, it was just
A
one.
master number. Yeah, just one. Okay. Leah has shared her birthday and her life path number. So let's get on with Leah first, who is a life path number 5.
And then she, but she gave me her, I just want to double check.
Okay.
So a 32.5 versus a 23.5. So fives are usually, now fives get a bad rap, actually. They're flighty, they're flaky, but what they are is amazingly curiosity driven. They're usually very attractive. Communication skills, unbelievable. They trip up when they overcommit because they really see the potential of every single offer. Right? You can really see how that can work out for them. You want to come to my party on Saturday? Sure. But then Saturday comes and you think, I'd really rather do photography or, something creative. So that's where they have some challenges, with overcommitting. But the 32, the 32 means that this lifetime you needed to master the 2, master relationships and creativity. So also the 3 is very creative and also has a gift for words. So I've possibly, in a perfect world, it would be like if you wanted to be an investigative journalist, you'd have divine truth, which is subjective, with divine wisdom, which is objective. So there'd be a match there, any kind of communication at all. So that would be that's what I've got for you.
Thank you so much for that.
Lisa. Okay. Lisa has.
Okay. Next up, we have Lisa, who is sharing that their birthday is 8/16/73. Life path is 8.
So whenever anybody gives me their birthday, I can't help but add it. 1973. Yes, you're an 8. You're a 35/8. My stepdaughter is a 55. I now know two people. Pamela. Oh my God. What's her birth date? I'd love to. Yeah.
Yes, let us know, Pamela, what
Yeah.
her birth
Yeah.
date is.
Birthday. For Lisa, we've got the 35 8, which is a very, I mean, you do have emotions. You don't show them because you feel people use it against you. And also you're creative enough, or it's almost like the 5 is that I don't want to commit too much, but your 8 tells you that you're a committer. And once you commit, you follow through. So the 5 doesn't normally follow through. Their follow through, isn't it? So now, the other person we were talking about was a 5. That, if you don't if you start things and not follow through, that's part of your charm. It's nothing to fix, right? You're not broken. Same with an 8, someone who chooses to be an 8, which is a building and structure and finance. In other words, you'd rather wait till you can afford the best wallet instead of just going down to you'd rather use a sack or or a napkin for your wallet until you can afford the best one. You don't want to waste money. If you were in corporate and there was a corporate meeting, you would be there, a lot of different life paths around the table. You would go and the boss says something infuriating. You just sit there. You say, yeah, I'll go back and do whatever the boss says. Whose signature is on my paycheck? Yeah, I'll do that. That type of thing. Very, very practical and loving. So bravo. That's
That's what it says about Lisa. That's amazing.
that's what it says about Lisa. Let's see if it rings through, you guys.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if it rings true. And if you're watching the replay and you have the same numbers, let us know as well. Does it ring true for you? Because I'm seeing comments in the chat as well that, oh my gosh, we have the same life path number, or we have the same the number before it's reduced. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Oh,
I want to
Lisa, I
know.
love that feedback. I love. That's so me. Just about everything was just right.
See, that's why this is
Awesome.
so an interesting topic. Okay, next up we have Donna Ortiz, who is saying their birthday is on March 1, 1962, 422.
Yeah. So when you have a master number, thank you, Donna, for giving me a chance to explain this. When you have, she's a numerologist too, by the way, Donna Ortiz. So she's starting her channel soon. So I'll have her on, and we'll all have her on. But so she's a master number 22, which means that if you add 2 and 2 together, she would be a 4. So you would read the 4 as well. So that the 4 means that you don't move forward unless you know the coast is clear, the rocks are solid. In fact, you would not move forward is one of the things that you would lean towards, and playing it cautious. The 22 is giving you that idea that you need to do something for the masses. It's almost more paralyzing to be a 22 because because you just feel like, I don't want to do something unless it serves everyone or it's in alignment with everyone. And being a psychic advisor, being a counselor, or working with people in general, you're not going to have that all the time. It's not going to be perfect all the time. So the frozen in perfectionism could be challenging as well. But nonetheless, what you build will last. And also starting things and not finishing them really bugs you about yourself. So being lighter on yourself about that, because the only way we can move forward is to try things on. And we're in a one universal year, and that affects everybody. That's just 2026 added up. 2 + 2 + 6 is a 10. You drop the 0 and it's a one universal year. Then this is the year to try new things. So here she is, Donna, finally starting her channel.
YouTube channel.
And so there's going to be fits and starts with the one universal year. So you're going to try it. Now, I don't like that. Yes, I do like that, whatever. But yeah. she's saying,
She's
once
saying,
I
yeah,
learned the number from Deborah, it
it
opened up a
opened
new
up
way
a
of
new
thinking.
way of
Yes,
thinking. Yes. And it's
same
one
with
of the
me.
things that I would like in this show. If this is your first time hearing Deborah and seeing Deborah and hearing about numerology, I would love it to open a new way of thinking for you as well. So thank you
Yes.
for saying that, Donna.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Pamela has shared her daughter's birthday or
Oh,
stepdaughter's
good.
birthday. Is
Okay.
it a
Oh
number?
God.
55?
219 1996. So I have her as a 10 now. So okay. So if I add up the way I add up the simple
Mhm.
way, it is a 37 37 1. But I'm going to add it up the chunky way. That's the old fashioned way. So there's a let me give your audience this. AstroSeek is a metaphysical free tool. You can go on and find out about astrology and a whole bunch of stuff, but there is a life path numerology. You scroll all the way to the bottom and there's a list of all that it can, there's calculators. And so go to the life path number. And there's one glitch in it that sometimes they will say that a master number is just the like a 33 is a 6 when really it's a, so make sure you look at the two numbers prior to the end number just to check your work. There's an easy way, a simple way, that's what I do, or there's a kind of grouping where you would put the 11, 19, 1996 would be, the 11 would turn into a 2, the 19 would turn into a 1 or a 10. I think you're probably doing a 10. And then you add up the 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 6 equals 7. No, I still get a 1 from that. So I don't know where the 55 came from. So I would add 2 for the 11, 10 for the 1 and 9. I'd add them together. And then 7 when you add up 1996. So it'd be 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 6 equals 25. And you reduce it again to a 7. So this grouping stuff makes it go down really, really little. The numbers are really little. And this is when you get into the karmic deck numbers. So be careful when you, that's why I don't do these. Plus, that's hard to do on the fly. Add
Yeah.
up, 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 6, and for a number person, that'd be okay. But, and then to go back and redo your work with the smaller numbers, that type of thing. But I do get a 37-1 for that. Not a 55-1, but you had me going there.
I was excited, but yeah.
But if
What
you,
does the number one say about her
what?
stepdaughter? Yeah,
So,
because I when we added, it turned up one instead of 55. But what does one say for her
I say
stepdaughter?
it's a 37-1.
Mhm.
So we're talking about the life lessons of a 7, which is you, a brilliant mathematical mind that can go either way, spiritual, or it can go academic. Then you have the 3, which is creative, right? So you get this amazing person who wants to be number 1, who needs to be, I mean, for a 1 life path, oh my God, I feel so bad for their brains because they're constantly sizing themselves up with others. This is just part of your charm. It's nothing to fix. It's just something to
Yes.
understand that if you're starting to feel bad, like social media or something like that, that means because you might feel jealous more often because your sense of excellence is amazing. Plus, you are also, it's part of the wand family where it's just this amazing brilliance, all of this like a streak of brilliance all of a sudden, and then it'll just fizzle out, like starting something and then fizzling it out, starting something. So if let's go back to the boardroom. All right. And we have a 1 life path in the boardroom having a meeting. They are the ones that interrupt saying, oh, I've got an idea. Oh, I think this, oh, I can build on that one. listen to this, that's what they are, because that's their mind. There's brilliant mind that comes through just all these ideas. Now let's say they are subordinate, so they're just part of the normal people, right?
Mhm.
That is looked down upon, right? And that would be so frustrating for a one. It's like, they just need to go do their own business, right? Because to have someone say no, no, no all the time would be so hard, unless you had a real liberal thing. But if they were the leader, if they were the leader of that group, they would be making their mind up quickly. Will it always be right? No, it won't, because there's a quick turnaround there. But it's like they didn't invent the wheel, but they made the wheel faster. It's like that. And they're just amazing. So also, if you make a one mad, they blow up at you. They'll forget about it eventually. I mean, they'll hold it against you for a little while, because they had to be number one and they had to be right. And they had to go through that in their heads and stuff like that. But after that, they're just onto something else. Whereas if you make some like a four upset, then maybe you have to really bring them flowers and candy and all that stuff. But just wonderful. But what a brilliant soul. Everybody's so brilliant once they understand who they are, right?
Yes.
So
And Pamela Anderson is saying accurate. We haven't
yeah,
met Pamela's stepdaughter, but you know things about her, Deborah. That's
yes,
the amazing thing about numerology, and it's just mind blowing. That is
yeah.
so amazing. So thank you so much, Deborah, for being here and discussing
Oh,
this topic with me. We have a lot. We had a lot of interesting questions from the audience as well. So I want to thank people who are watching the live stream
absolutely.
right now and watching the replay right now. So, Deborah, do you have any final messages for the people watching?
Oh, I'm just so rabid about numerology, because it freed me up. I'm even getting like moved by it, because once you figure out who you are and why you are, and it's like, oh, I can let myself off the hook. And that's what I want to share with everyone. And whether it's my book or Google, I don't care where you go. Just make sure that if something doesn't feel right, or puts you in a box to a point where you're frustrated with it, um, read my book, maybe,
Yes.
or ask ChatGPT and say, this doesn't reconcile, this doesn't make sense, or call me. I mean, I certainly give readings on this and get everyone on the same plan. And I'm going to start doing. I mean, I did have some workshops before. I think I'll probably do another few workshops coming up, and so just give people the tools to get them on their way.
So for the people who would like to get a reading from Deborah, you can book her through her website. The details are in the description, so you can check that out. As for her book, there's a QR code right here. If you're watching the mobile view, and on the other side, if you're watching the landscape view, please do check it out. It's amazing. Gerald would say purchase responsibly, and I think it's
Oh
very
yes,
responsible if you get it.
you would.
Again, it's I have your number. So I hope you check it out. And today, as we wrap up, I hope we were able to shed some light into this topic of numerology and life path numbers for you who's watching this right now, and maybe even open your mind that birthdays can be a small clue to who you are and how you move through life. And whether or not you fully believe in numerology, like many people who are watching this and has just heard about it, if it helps you understand yourself or others a little better, then maybe that's what really matters. Because it isn't about, putting yourself in a box or a label. It's about becoming more aware about yourself and becoming, well, more you, more you. So again, huge thank you, Deborah, for sharing your wisdom with us today.
Pleasure's
Um,
mine. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you want to dive deeper into this topic, again, make sure that you check her book out. I have your number and her work. Everything is linked in the description below. And then next week here on Soul Cloud, we've been like putting hints here and there about the planets and astrology and how it affects us. So next week I will be joined by Diana Bowles, and we'll talk about how things might be pre-planned and also written in the stars. So I hope you subscribe to this channel if you're interested in that, and I'll see you again in the next episode of Soul Cloud. In the meantime, thank you and stay curious about the soul.
Thank you.